Hello and welcome to The Dialogue, the show that has discussions about the latest sports topics of the day. I'm your host with the Golden Mic, Daniel Campbell. Along with me, the one to envy, B Smooth. And also, the star of the show, Charlie Murphy. In today's episode, we'll talk about the top 5 power forwards list. All right, so
Let's
this
get
is
this over with
episode number
quickly.
2. Hold on. This is episode number 2 of our new segment, The Debate, where we debate lists that we have created for who are the greatest in their fields. All right, so we did the centers the first time, and now we're going to do the power forwards. Smooth, you had something to say?
Yeah, let's get this over quickly because I'm looking to my left out my window, at the lakefront, and I would like to be out there on this nice warm day.
Yeah, that's a weak flex. Nice try, though. Nice try.
Well, it's true. I would like to be out there.
Well, it's a nice try to flex, but it's not.
It's not a flex.
Ladies, he has a view from the lake, ladies.
It's
Yeah,
just,
ladies.
it's just a fact.
Also, guys, he
Single.
doesn't discriminate. So,
Yeah, ladies,
Yeah, guys, forget anything you hear.
or gentlemen. He's single gentleman. You know, whatever his proclivities are.
Okay,
I think number one
I'm
and two is
about to-
probably going to be unanimous.
I'm about to leave this.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if they're unanimous. Let's go ahead and get started. Everybody has Tim Duncan number 1, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to say something before we get to that.
I know he's not really a
He is not. He's not a power forward. He only listed himself a power forward because he doesn't want to be known as a center. Because if he was known as a true center, he wouldn't even be top 5.
Well, technically, he did play the position of power forward for what? The first, I want to say 7 or 8 years of his career.
Yeah, he had David Robinson.
Technicality.
So he did play, and then he did get listed as center at the end of his career. He did.
But then they had Thiago Splitter. They got him to play center, and then was it Aldrich? Was that the other guy?
Yeah,
that they
Aldridge.
traded for. They traded for. Yeah.
And he had to play center because Aldridge is definitely a power forward.
Yeah, at the end of his career, that last championship when they beat LeBron, he was playing center, and he was listed as a center.
Because he couldn't move anymore. That's the only real reason why. It's because he couldn't move anymore. But just to give away his honors.
Well, it doesn't matter. Look, he's listed as a power forward, so respect him as a power forward, and he's number 1 on everybody's list.
Yeah,
All right?
he's going to be number 1.
Technicality is BS. But
Who's
anyway,
your number 2? That's what I want
has
to know.
to list him 2-time MVP in 2001, and then in 2002 he became an MVP back-to-back. 3-time Finals MVP, 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA selection, 15-time All-Defensive selection, Rookie of the Year in '98. All right,
Okay.
let's move on.
So who's your number 2?
We're
That's
looking at
what
the
I
same
think.
page. I think.
Oh my God, you with another terrible list. How's Karl Malone number 2?
Karl Malone is definitely, up until just recently when LeBron passed him, he was the number 2 scorer of all time.
He's
Karl Malone.
not number 2.
Who's number 2? Who's number 2? I want to hear.
Charles, who's your number 2?
I'll put down Karl Malone. You got to put them 1 and 2.
Not just terrible.
You got to do 1 and 2.
So both.
You got to.
So who do you have? Who do you have?
Dirk.
Okay, now I know you're wrong if you got Dirk.
No,
I
there's a reason
know
why.
you're wrong if you got
No,
Dirk.
there's a reason why it's Dirk.
Okay,
Karl Malone is a product of John Stockton.
okay.
Let's just be honest. He is. He's a product of scoring all those points because of that pick and roll with John Stockton. When you needed a bucket, could you get a bucket from Karl? No, you couldn't. He couldn't be trusted in the clutch.
He was known to choke. Yes, he's known.
He's a choke guy. He's
Bulls,
the guy.
1996.
Stockton, he's nothing without that pick and roll.
I
That's
disagree.
He had that one little swinging jumper he would do, but even that from 15 feet, but even that wasn't completely reliable. He'd hit it half the time. Karl Malone is literally just a product of stats because of pick and roll. Dirk could get you a bucket when you really needed one. All right, let's just be honest. You may not like it, but it's true. Karl Malone's in the top 5 literally just because of stats.
His career, his career points, rebounds, assists, and field goals are all better than Dirk. Career
So
are all
so
better.
Stop being a nerd, because you. This is the problem. This is the problem. All the nerds get out here and they fall in love with Dirk because Dirk was like this super efficient player. And if you look at his
that's not
PER and
why.
you look at his WAR and you look at all these stupid stats that they come up with instead of just looking at the player, and they come up with these
I'm
great.
looking at the player. I'm looking at the player, and it's Dirk.
Okay.
Because Dirk of an old Jason Kidd, who's the guy he played with that's on Stockings level?
He played with Steve Nash, just as
That
Steve
was
Nash
before Steve Nash was
Nash.
Nash. That was before he was Nash.
Okay, he played with Michael Finley. He played with
John Stockton is a top 10 point guard. I won't put him in my top 5, but he's top 10.
oh, he's definitely a top 5 point guard. Get out of here with that.
No.
Well, that's a debate for another day.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna list off.
You know what?
I'm gonna
He
list
might
off.
be number 5. He might be number 5.
Hold on. Let me list off Karl Malone's achievements. 2-time MVP.
He didn't deserve one of them. One of them belonged to Jordan.
Hold on.
14-time
All-Star, 14-time All-NBA selection, 4-time All-Defensive selection, Hall of Fame. Now I'm going to put up Dirk Nowitzki's numbers. I'm going to put up his mentions. He's an MVP in 06. So Carl's got one more MVP than him. He's a Finals MVP in 11, right? Because he wins a championship. Karl Malone doesn't. That's the one thing he's got over Karl Malone, but that doesn't mean a whole lot there. He's a 13-time All-Star. He's a 12-time All-NBA selection. No defense mentioned anywhere.
Karl Malone's not even the best power forward of his generation.
Who's better than him in his generation? You say Charles Barkley, I swear to God.
It is Chuck.
Well, I knew you was going to say that craziness.
It's Chuck. I'm going to get to it. It's Chuck. Because I got Chuck at number 3. I do.
All right. Let's finish where we are first. Because I need to do this with you. Because this is madness right here. And this is irritating me to my soul, to my core.
I mean, like you did with us with the centers, where we had the same list, and you gonna tell us, well, both of y'all wrong?
Yes, you were both wrong.
No, we weren't.
I'm always right.
But no, but you're not.
I'm always right.
You're not.
There's only one time that I'm always wrong, and it's when I'm debating with my wife. But any other time, I'm always right.
The only person that's infallible. Let me explain something to you, Charles. The only person that's infallible is me. That's it. I'm the only one that's infallible. Remember that.
Let me just remind you, Dirk Nowitzki had no defensive game. Now, what makes Dirk Nowitzki special?
It's not about the defense.
Hold on. What makes him special is Dirk Nowitzki virtually created his game off of basically not moving at all. He had a move where he took 1 or 2 dribbles and pulled up, or he was stationary and he made the little jump, or he occasionally posted up, did his leg kick fade away. But Dirk Nowitzki was special because he did not move around. But yet you couldn't stop him.
Keep me from hurting this man, from snatching him through this screen, dear Lord.
That's what I'm about to do with you. Because if you are crazy to think that Dirk Nowitzki was better than Karl Malone.
He's number 2.
Dirk Nowitzki is not fit to hold Karl Malone's left nut. And it's plain and simple.
It's the fact. And this is from a person who hates European players. For me to say that says a lot.
Move on to number 3.
What's wrong with the Europeans?
I agree with them that European players are not my
They're
favorite.
ruining the game. Luka is ruining the game.
I think European players are
Well,
soft.
the game is going to change eventually.
Generally,
It's
they
change
can't be
eventually.
the best player on your team because they're soft.
So you want it soft like this, like it is now, with people.
All right, let's go to 3.
Yeah, let's go to 3. We know you have Charles Barkley at 3. Charlie, who you got?
Now this is where I put Barkley at 3. Okay. He was very good. It was hard to stop him. He got the ball in the paint. You could see his players run to the other side of the court getting back on defense because he was automatic.
Yes.
So Barkley at 3. I like him. You can't rate him any higher than this. Dunk is going to be 1. Karl Malone in the era where, like he didn't shoot threes. So you were the second leading scorer at one point, and LeBron catches up because LeBron's able to shoot threes. These scoring titles and stuff is going to be broken because people can shoot threes. But Barkley's number 3.
And Barkley.
Here's the problem.
I have Barkley as well.
Okay, so
I think we all have
Malone. If you swap out Malone, this is your argument the last time. If you swap out Karl Malone and Charles Barkley, you think Karl Malone without John Stockton can lead that Phoenix team to the NBA Finals? Because I don't believe that, but I believe Barkley does just what Karl Malone did, even better.
Barkley had a brief moment in 1993 where he was arguably the best player in the league. Coming off that dream team, he was arguably the best player in the league at that point. Arguably.
He had more than that because if you actually look at his stats from 1990 to 1995, Charles Barkley's either the best player in the league or the second best player. He's never lower than 3rd in that league. If you look at his stats.
Let me list off his honors so we can debate this. Barkley wins the MVP in 93. 11-time All-Star. 11-time All-NBA selection. Hall of Fame. Again, no mention of defense.
When you watch that dream team, who's the catalyst that makes them go? Out of all the superstars, it's not Michael Jordan. It's not Magic Johnson. It's who?
You're debating Dream Team versus NBA.
But that tells you all you need to know about who was the better player.
Notice what I did not mention in any of those statistics. Defense. I did not mention defense. He has no defensive selections. He wasn't known for defense. And this is from somebody who is a Charles Barkley fan. Because there's nothing greater than those early days of Charles Barkley with the Sixers, where Charles Barkley is literally
another Hall of Famer,
rebound, running the break, and slamming on people.
Name another Hall of Famer that he played with, and not those early Philly Hall of Famers, because they were all at the end of their career, they were done. Dr. J and all of them were toast.
Does Tom Chambers count?
Tom Chambers isn't no Hall of Famer.
I think he is. He might not be.
No, he's not.
He's borderline then.
He doesn't play with another Hall of Famer until 96.
The Rockets.
No, it was 97. I'm sorry. 97 Rockets.
Yep, he played with the Rockets. You got Elijah Barkley. Elijah Barkley, Pippen, Drexler. He's done. And no, Drexler wasn't on that team. Drexler's retired. Did he retire at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Pippen's cooked. No, Drexler was on that team. Was on that team.
That's what I thought.
It was 99. It was 99. Pippen came over in 99 after the championships.
Yeah.
As a Bull fan, I know that.
Yeah.
But Drexler's done. Drexler's cooked. Chuck is cooked. Even Hakeem knees are done at that point.
I agree with you. He didn't play with the best teams. He didn't. Dan Marley is his second best player in Phoenix. Tom Chambers is on that squad.
To put up the amount of numbers he put up, to do the things he did with that level of talent, Karl Malone can't do it.
And being 6'4", he's special. I agree with you. He's special.
But Karl Malone, without John Stockton, what is he? Be honest with yourself.
We'll never know. It's an unknown.
He's better with John Stockton, but they did a good job putting the team together for the Hornets anyway. He is a lot better with John Stockton, but this doesn't knock where he is on the list. I mean,
You mean
he's
that?
arguably the best power forward.
Play with who
You
you
know,
play with. It's not his fault that the Sixers are a crappy organization.
But no, you wanted to swap out Wilt for Bill Russell last game, and I just told you if you swap the two of them out, can he do what he did in Utah?
I don't think that Karl Malone.
He can't do it. He can't stand
with that squad. I don't think Karl Malone takes that squad to a finals appearance against Michael Jordan. I agree with you.
He's an eighth seed at best.
No, I don't think it's that bad, but I do think that they don't make it.
Why don't you think
it's just for the sheer fact that if you take Barkley and put him with Stockton, and that you put that Barkley with Stockton, I think that they might actually
they beat the Bulls.
It's possible. It's very possible. Just because Barkley, it's only because Karl Malone choked all the time. In big games, he choked all the time.
Barkley took them Bulls, that Bulls team in '93 to 6 games by himself.
Again,
John Stockton on that team.
I'm sorry, as a Bulls fan, out because Karl Malone choked. The 2 times that the Rockets went to the finals, they beat the Jazz in the Western Conference Finals, and Karl Malone choked in both of those games. He finally gets over the hump, plays the Bulls twice, and he chokes in both games against the Bulls.
You can't be number 2 and be a choke job. That's my point.
But he's better than Barkley. He just choked at the greatest moment.
He's not better
he had his moments when he choked too. But for sake of time, we got to move forward.
When did Karl Malone ever say, "Get on my back and let's go for this ride"?
Because he choked at times. All right, that's it.
Barkley said, "Get on my back."
My point again is that you gotta have defense. If you want to be top 3, you gotta have defense.
No, you don't.
Or top 2, rather.
No, you don't. That's why. All
right, who do y'all have as number 4? Charlie.
Number 4. This is where I put Kevin Garnett.
Solid, wise choice.
This is where I put Kevin Garnett. Accolades. Who you guys got as number 4? Let's get to.
I agree with you. That's where I have.
I actually put Kevin Garnett as well.
Wow. Kevin Garnett is the 4th. Okay, well, no, I have to debate this one.
We've agreed.
Well, when Tim Duncan was obvious, like he's number 1. He's obvious.
Yeah.
You can debate. Sometimes he plays the 5 or whatever, but he was obvious. So Kevin Garnett, he had a great career.
Honestly, it's hard for me because I want to put him over Barkley so badly because Kevin Garnett was so good for so long. People forget how good he really was with the
Timberwolves. He can't get you a bucket when you need one.
That was more later in his career, though. But earlier in his career, he was the best scorer. He was the best defender. He was the playmaker for his team. He did everything.
But he wasn't a bucket, go get a bucket dude. That's why they fell short in the playoffs so much. He's never been that dude.
No, I see, and this is where I disagree with you. And I'm going to tell you why. Before those last like 2 seasons in Minnesota, who was the best player he ever played with?
Oh, it was easy. God, I cannot think of his name right now. You got
Marbury,
and you got I can't think of his name.
Marbury, Starbury.
No, I wasn't gonna say Marbury. I was
gonna say
no, the guy that died in the car crash, and I can't.
Malik Sealy.
Malik Sealy. People forget about Malik Sealy was on that.
Yeah, he was a really good player.
Malik Sealy does not die. God knows.
I agree with you. 1,000%.
Coming.
I 1,000% agree with you. That would have been something else for them that Malik Sealy doesn't die.
Malik Sealy is taking his game to a whole nother level.
Yeah, but he did. But my point is, he played, and Malik Sealy, as good as he was still a very young player and coming into his own. He was showing flashes of what he could be. We don't know if he would have ever built that consistency. We just live off of the idea of what he would become because he tragically died so young.
Well, we saw it at the end of that last season before he
but again, that's a flash. We don't know for sure if he would have been able to sustain that. It's unknown.
He was
My point is, Kevin Garnett did not play with another Hall of Famer until he goes to the
That's a lie.
Celtics.
That's a lie.
Who?
You forgot he had Sam Cassell on his team.
That's not a Hall of Famer.
Sam
Sam
Cassell
ain't no Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's not. He's
He
not a
should
Hall of
be.
Famer.
He should be.
He shouldn't. He wasn't that good. As a matter of fact, Sam Cassell was a bench player
If
for
Joe
most of his career.
Dumars can get in with his limited stats, pretty much anybody should be able to get in.
Sam Cassell is not a Hall of Famer.
I'm sorry.
Terrell Sprewell, not a Hall of Famer. Those were they were both at the end of their
career. Considering who's in there, Spree's borderline.
Spree's problem was that he got robbed of some seasons early on because, choking PJ Carlissimo. But and it just robbed him of his opportunities. He was a really good player. But Spree was at the end of his career. Sam Cassell was at the end of his career at that point. And he dragged those guys to a Western Conference Finals with those two guys. And a Wally Zerbiak, who nobody ever thought was any good. But they kept saying, wait till Wally Zerbiak, puts it all together. He was one of them dudes that, man, if he ever puts it all together, that's what he had. A bunch of them dudes. Terrell Brandon was hurt at that point when he got him. Marbury, he only had Marbury at the beginning of the career.
But the point is, we all agree KG is number 4.
Yes. Let me list his stats so that we can move forward on that. So his honors are MVP in 03, 15-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA selection, Defensive Player of the Year in 07, 08, and then a 12-time All-Defensive selection. That is a heck of a career right there. And honestly, his stuff even looks better than Barkley, to be truthful. So I may have to rethink how I feel about Barkley after looking.
No, Barkley's still ahead of him.
But there's something to be said about Barkley striking fear in the eyes of people because the dude just played ball. And he could rebound the ball, run up the court.
KG is, but he's not. He can't get you a bucket, and that's the problem.
He had a problem with choking at the end of the game. Sometimes he did. All right, who's your number 5? Smooth.
Chris Webber. I'm joking.
I was gonna come through that screen.
Wait.
It's actually Karl Malone is my number 5.
Charlie.
That's disrespectful. I thought about this because I was looking at different players. I'm going to go with Rodman simply because he is a dying breed. He was good at one thing. He was extremely good at one thing.
So no Dirk.
Rebounding. I wanted to do Dirk. I really did. I went with Rodman because he was extremely good at one thing. Rebound.
Put his hand in somebody's booty hole.
Yeah, sure. He got off on that as well.
Prepared for that. I did not think you were going to leave Dirk off. I just knew you.
That was tough. Because 1 and 2, we were in agreement on that. You gotta have Barkley. Because me and you were looking at the same page probably. But think about it. He had 33 games where he had 25 rebounds at least. No other player in the NBA has done that 4 times. He's done it 25 times. I know you're going to mention, I'm going to mention off the accolades. I know you're going to mention that. 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star NBA selection, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. I remember one of the speeches he gave. He cried because he's like, man, I wanted this so bad. Like, he was a great defender.
But
not only did he get bored.
Technically wasn't a power forward for most of his career. He was listed as a small forward.
Yeah. When he went to the Bulls,
that was a technicality, though, because the Pistons.
He played small forward for the Pistons.
He did for them, but it's really a power forward. It was only a technicality because the Pistons had Bill Laimbeer, and they couldn't play him at small forward.
They had him and Rick Mahorn, and he was playing small forward. He's only 6'7".
It's a technicality because he played in between the two, but with the Bulls and with
San Antonio, they traded him for Sean Ellis and put him at the 3. Only right before they got rid of him and traded him to the Bulls did they put him at power forward.
I think he's a power forward.
Hey, he still got those rings though,
I'm just
and
I
saying.
actually
I'm just,
chose.
similar to Tim Duncan.
no. My argument with that is half of his stats were literally listed at small forward. The other half are listed at power forward.
Okay. Like again, we're not gonna do this because Tim Duncan. You know,
Yeah.
so we're not gonna do this.
Okay.
And actually, playing at one of the forward positions is more of something that you can do because those two positions kind of gel together a little bit between small forward and power forward. So in their skill sets, I chose Dirk actually as my number 5.
Thank you.
I just couldn't leave him off the list as much
I left
as
him off the list.
yeah, I couldn't. As much as I don't. I look. I respect Dirk's game. I respect the game because he can score almost at will, right? And a lot of that had to do with the rule changes. So I just want to point that out in there because when we get to point guard and Steve Nash comes up, there's a reason why Steve Nash and Dirk blow up at the same time, and it has to do with rule changes.
Yes.
They weren't as great before the rule changes happened.
Well, you can't
However,
take nobody.
the rules are the rules, and they're playing by the rules that were enforced at the time. All right. Now, with that being said, Dirk could get a bucket. My problem with Dirk is that he choked at times. Um, they should have won that championship in '06. Shaq should not have won that championship. You don't go up to 2-0 and then lose and then just completely fall apart like that. I'm happy he learned from that with when he played the Heat the second time with LeBron. He was a little soft. He was not known for defense. He wasn't a great passer. He really just had one skill, and that was to get a bucket. If you tell me I need to go get it, I need a guy who's just going to go get a bucket, and that's all he's going to do is go get a bucket.
He averaged 30 points a game.
Yeah.
And
So hold on. There's two guys that I can think of outside of Michael Jeffrey Jordan who I'm going to go ask to go get a bucket. All right. Number one is Dirk, and number 2 is Carmelo Anthony. Those are my 2 bucket getters right there. All right. And I'll throw David Thompson in there as well. He's an often forgotten shooting guard who was great. But anyway.
you forgetting Reggie, because Reggie was clutch too. Like,
No, I don't want Reggie to go get a bucket. No, I'm good.
but
If I
Reggie
need a
did go bucket.
I'm going to get Dirk and I'm going to get Carmelo Anthony. That's how good they were. I like the Dennis Rodman selection because I think that Dennis Rodman is forgotten because he was so good at one thing that he ignored all the rest of the game, even though he could have been great at the rest of the game if he wanted.
He was a good defender too. Now he was a very good defender.
No, this is the argument, because you said, "Oh, Dirk and Charles don't have any defensive stats and this, that, and the other." Well, Dennis don't have no offensive stats. So you got to go both ways when it comes to, you got to be fair.
Okay, but here's the thing with Dennis.
Dennis has no offensive stats.
Dennis literally dominated the game without trying to score. Literally dominated the game. Dominated it. He pushed his will on the game with whatever tactics he had to do, nut grabbing, whatever it was. He did it, whispering in people's ears and singing to them and all this other stuff that he was doing to make people feel uncomfortable. He did what he had to do to control the game. Dirk had one phenomenal season where he absolutely.
You don't get to excuse not scoring if you're not going to excuse not playing defense. You don't get to have it both ways.
Well, that's why they're not first on the list anyway.
Dirk only had 2 seasons where you can point to him dominating the
game. Double standard.
Also, Dirk lost to the We Believe Warriors. Don't forget that.
Standard.
Dirk lost to the We Believe Warriors.
Hey, use your phone. This is a professional.
That's not my phone.
All right. Well,
standard.
Actually, fellas, we're out of time. So we want to thank you guys for. All right. Okay.
Stop play.
We want to thank you both for joining us. Want to thank everyone for watching us on the dialogue and this new feature that we have. We want you to rate us, review us, give us 5 stars, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys in a couple of days.